Hello everyone, my name is Avani Ratan. I'm a consultant clinical psychologist and MPhil from IBHAS and currently a PhD scholar at University of Delhi. Now we shall be discussing about the assessments of intelligence. Starting with, Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon were attributed with the first attempt to measure intelligence scientifically. In 1905, they developed the first intelligence test known as the Binet-Simon Intelligence Scale. In 1905, the first Binet-Simon Intelligence Scale was developed. Later, in 1908, they coined a term, mental age. So the term mental age was coined in 1908. So it was to measure the intellectual ability of a person in comparison to his or her fellow age groups. The term chronological age, it refers to a person's biological age. So here mental age is the person's ability, the intellectual ability in comparison to the fellow age group. The term chronological age is the person's biological age. It is denoted by CA. So according to Binet, if a child has mental age more than his or her chronological age, then he or she will be classified as bright. But if the child scores 2 mental age years below than his or her chronological age, then the child should be identified with intellectual impairment. So in 1912, William Stern suggested the concept called intelligent quotient. It referred to a score which was derived by dividing the mental age with the chronological age and multiplying the result with 100. So IQ was the mental age divided by the chronological age multiplied by 100. So if the mental age equals to the chronological age, then the IQ will be 100. If the mental age is less than the chronological age, the IQ will be less than 100. Moving on to the types of intelligence tests. So intelligence tests have been classified on a number of criteria, such as the tests based on the number of participants who can attempt the tests, or the tests based on the items used in the test and whether the test can be used across different culture. So there are individual tests. An individual test is one of which is administered to one individual at a time. Individual tests are administered on one individual at a time. There are many standardized individual tests such as the Kaufman scales, the Stanford-Binet scale, and the Wechsler intelligence scales. So, in today's discussion, we will limit our discussion with two most famous intelligence tests. First is the Stanford-Binet test and the Wechsler intelligence test. The Stanford-Binet test of intelligence, it was the first intelligence test which was developed by Binet and Simon in 1905. Here, it was one of the popular intelligence tests among psychologists. Later, this test was revised and adapted by an American psychologist, Lewis M. Terman. So, after validating it on the American population, he renamed the original scale as Stanford-Binet scale. So, the revision was done in 1907 and it was done by Terman. In 2003, the fifth version of the Stanford-Binet scale, the fifth edition that came out, here it was known as SB5. It was introduced with 10 subtests measuring the following 5 factors. The first was fluid reasoning, then knowledge, then quantitative reasoning, then the visual spatial processing, and last was working memory. So, other than the scores with reference to these 5 factors, SB5 also gives two distinct scores, namely the verbal IQ and the non-verbal IQ. So, apart from these 5 factors, SB5 also gave the verbal IQ and the non-verbal IQ. So the instrument has 10 subsets. So the SB5 can be used for people with the age range from 2 years to 85 years. The age range that we are looking at is 2 years to 85 years. On the American sample of 4,800 individuals, the reliability of the 3 IQ scores was found to be in 0.90 and that of the subtests ranging from 0.70 to 0.85. This was for SB5 and for the subtests, the reliability was found to be 2.85. So the Stanford-Binet test, the SB5, it was designed for the administration to assess the individuals as young as 2 and as old as 85. The test yields a number of composite scores. It includes a full-scale IQ derived from the administration of the 10 subsets. So from the 10 subsets, we are getting a full-scale IQ. Other composite scores are an abbreviated battery where the IQ of a verbal score is also given and also the non-verbal IQ score is also derived. The test yields the 5-factor index IQ scores which correspond to each of the 5 factors that the test is presumed to measure. So the SB5 is based on the CHC theory of intellectual abilities. So this test is designed to measure 5 different factors. One is the fluid reasoning, then the knowledge, the quantitative reasoning, the visual spatial reasoning, and the working memory. These 5 factors are measured using different types of tasks and subtests. So some tasks, they require facility with language, whereas other tasks minimize the demands on facility with language. So the latter subtests, they use the pictorial rather than the verbal items. So as I said that it is based on the CHC theory. The CHC theory is the Cattell-Horn-Carroll theory. It is the Cattell-Horn-Carroll. So we will be now comparing the Cattell-Horn-Carroll and the corresponding SB5 factors. So here I have mentioned the factor name, how that factor is included, and maybe the name has been changed in the SB5 factor name. What is the brief definition? How do we define it? And the sample that we use. So in CHC factor, it is the fluid intelligence. Now it is called the fluid reasoning in the SB5. So the fluid reasoning is the novel problem solving. It is the understanding of the relationships that aren't culturally bound. The sample SB5 subtest which measures this is the object series or the matrices which are non-verbal, and in the verbal it is the verbal analogies. The second is the crystallized knowledge, which is now known as just by the word knowledge. It is expressed as KN. So the skills and the knowledge which are acquired by the formal and the informal education. It is tested by the subtest which we use is the picture absurdity and the vocabulary. Third is the quantitative knowledge, now known as quantitative reasoning, which is the knowledge of the mathematical thinking, including the number concepts, the estimation, the problem solving, and the measurement. So it is used by the verbal quantitative reasoning and the non-verbal quantitative reasoning as a subtest to measure quantitative knowledge. Then comes the visual processing, which is now known as visual spatial processing, which is the ability to see the patterns and relationships and the spatial orientation. So how is it measured in the SB5? It is measured by the position and the direction and a form board. Then comes the short-term memory, which is the working memory now. It is the cognitive process of the temporarily storing and transformation into the transformation of information in memory. So the SB5 subtest here that we use to measure this is the memory for sentences and the delayed response. So the SB5 is a full-scale IQ which has an internal consistency reliability which is very high. Then the retest reliability coefficients are also high. So the criterion related validity, which is provided in the form of concurrent and predictive data, so that is also high. SB5 is correlated with other measures of intelligence, specifically with the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale. It is correlated with the measures of achievement, such as the Wechsler Individual Achievement Test, and the factor analytic support for the construct validity of SB5 is also high.